not muted. Hello.
Hello.
My awesome joke is just lost to the ages now. Can't repeat.
Exalted!
Huzzah!
Now, you may notice that two of our characters have their totems burning atoms out. And that's because during the break, because we had some people unavailable and some. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and run the combat that we launched ourselves into, and completed it. Because combat can take a long time. And I'm actually going to cover the combat this. How did I do?
So everyone could see how pretty they are. It's okay if they get turned off again. How long do totemic animals last for Dragonbloods and Solas? An hour?
Yeah, so it's like half an hour from totemic to burning 15 minutes. No, not.
Glowing.
This is one of the few complaints I have about Exalted. They named the animal up. I don't find them terribly intuitive. So you've got totem, totemic, and bonfire is the same. Have burning. Have
Glowing.
and then dim. But dim isn't like a little bit of no light. It shouldn't be dim.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that
what
I find
confuses me.
deeply confusing.
What about Dragonbloods?
It's the same way.
Really? So you are literally on fire for the next hour?
No. As long as I am at the bonfire level, I am on fire. Which means no hugs for about half an hour. Or
No
until,
hugs.
or until I find a charm that I can pump anima into.
Thanks, Plucky. Is that better? Is the mic still cutting out? And we'll wait 30 seconds for you to actually hear me asking that question to then respond.
Delay.
So while we're waiting for that, I'll change the music to something.
Hell, describe for the audience what happened in our combat.
Okay, so the three ghosts were jerks, and actually were like a legion of ghosts in one ghost. So that was against the rules. So we kind of crashed on forward. Well, before doing a hasty backpedal to get our bearings, we crashed on forward in an attempt to try and get it toward, get it away from the battle group that Hand had laid out, because that was way above their pay grade. And that's saying a lot, given they're paid well. We basically attempted to try and contain the creature through basically quick, precise strikes until it attempted to it took over some trees, and then we decided to Fern Gully it.
Yeah!
So, so yeah,
No, that's not what
we
Fern Gully sounds like.
No. All our plans should result in Tim Curry film references. I think we will be successful.
While we're in this intro bit, I'm just going over sort of audios, because now I've actually got someone in the audience who responds to me when I ask these questions. Thank you very much, Plucky.
Shout out to all our bot followers.
I've just... No, we totally have lots of followers. Viewers, I mean. Is that better? I've turned off the noise gate entirely, so it shouldn't be clipping anymore, but I just want to make sure it's not picking up background noise.
Wait for 30 seconds. So,
All the music you hear on this channel, by the way, is available, well, not available free, I paid for some of it, but it's all royalty free. And so I've got the names and stuff down in I was about to say Doobly-Doo, I'm not on YouTube yet. For lots.
Oh, good. He says it's coming through good.
Excellent. So, this is a new mic. Hopefully the audio quality is good, because it is a cheaper mic than the expensive mic. But the cheaper mic is performing better as far as cutting out noise goes, so let's see how we go. Sorry. Keller was telling us about the battle when I interrupted.
So yeah, what wound up happening as we were kind of wrecking the thing, it decided to hide itself into a tree, using the tree as sort of a shell. This made it a lot harder for us to chip away at it, so we decided to do a bunch of, like, rather than trying to build it to a high initiative to bring it down, we decided to do low build-ups to be able to do quick death by 1,000 paper cuts, as it were. Making sure to utilize the fact that Tirala had gone totemic, so the field was basically an inferno, attempting to flash petrify the tree into a cocoon after we had extracted Hand from it, because Hand managed to get inside the tree, which Tirala might later be like, not the smartest move.
But fun.
So yeah, the entire plan was basically we kept hammering on the thing, trying to make sure that it got no ability to focus in on one person, get Hand out of there, and flash petrify the tree so that it basically acts as a sealing tomb. The creature is not dead, but it is sealed within this withered husk of what was it? Was it an oak? What kind of tree was it? Oak tree?
It was a family of oak trees.
Family of oak trees, yeah. So yeah, we hexed it.
Thank you for joining. Just one sec. Just go. I'll be back.
No worries. We also learned that High Soak is the bane of Arthur Shasta's existence.
So many of my attacks bounced. My best weapon is a dog.
Hey, a sweet dog.
Hey man, I'm not dissing dogs. So, I just want to be on record about that.
All right. So the combat went through. It's pretty much over. People are totemic at the moment, which creates a problem, you see, because when an Exalted when an Exalted has used so much of their power that their soul shines through and cannot no longer be contained, it's visible for miles and miles. Which brings us to today's events.
One of these Exalts is allowed to be totemic and nobody cares.
At this point,
Hey,
I'm going to
I technically
ask
have an alibi.
So, just setting the scene very quickly. So this battle had taken place in front of this enormous fen. There was this section of Caldor used to be a lake. It has since sort of dried up mostly and become this marshland. Peat, bog, grasses, that sort of stuff. So it looks like solid meadow, but when you actually try to walk through it, like, you sink down at least ankle deep, if not further into the shin. And right now, it's the dead of night. But you wouldn't know it, because there's this sort of pop of this burning inferno going on across this peat plain has been set alight, and it's burning these you have that thick, acrid black smoke coming up off it as you get from peat fires to, those floating embers, like small lanterns floating up into the sky. But everything is sort of set into stark contrast because, like, almost the literal sun is slowly floating down to Earth. The Sagacious Hand, while Tarala is bright, she is burning her, phoenix appearing around her at appropriate dramatic moments. The Sagacious Hand is beaming like the midday sun. The underside of this cloud cover is lit up in stark contrast. It sort of spreads out throughout the plane, and you can be certain that it can be seen for miles. Anyone in Caldor City proper would be able to see this brightness on the horizon, as if the sun itself was rising. Which is why I would like everyone to make a very quick perception plus awareness roll.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm already glowing. Let's just add more to that fire. So let's add. I'm assuming this isn't a battlefield awareness thing.
No, this is to detect hidden people that you don't know.
To detect hidden people that I don't know are there. Burning 4 motes to add 2 automatic successes. The rest of it is, I believe, 6 dice.
That's 2 dice. That thing I'm great at.
6 dice with 2 automatic successes is 3 for Cal.
Ooh.
Sagacious Hand botches.
Ah! Yes! God damn it.
I don't have any votes left, so 5 dice.
5, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it certainly does get expensive when you're spending for 2.
Hey, but I'm only at level 1, whatever. God, we just discussed how we hit the terms for this. My
Glowing.
forehead is a flashlight. That's as high as I got.
1 success. So, alright, so it's time for me to roll for the beard, guys. The people. And they have rolled absurdly well.
Oh!
So, nobody notices. Except, because this is cinematic, the viewers. So there's this nice little cutaway to these rangers who are sort of head down in the grass amongst the trees. With their little spyglasses going, oh jeez, that spyglass hurt my eyes because I was looking at something really bright. We best tell the general. And they sort of silently get up and shimmy back onto their horses and ride off into the distance. But you guys didn't know that happened.
That's okay.
So amongst all this fire and light and everything, you've got this giant, sort of almost Frankensteinian oak tree, sort of made up of other smaller oaks, twisted, grey, and sort of petrified into this awful stony form, acting as if a tomb. Swirls of frankincense essence, sort of curling around it. Some of them sort of spelling out Old Realm runes because that's cool and mystical.
Yeah,
You can be sure, Arthur Shasta, that the ghost is contained, at least temporarily.
Do I have a guesstimate how long it will remain there? Like weeks, a season?
Most likely a season.
ooh.
Okey-doke.
Before there's a major change, that's how long it is stuck here. That said, if someone comes along with a spray can and marks it for deconstruction, that might speed it up. It could be damaged.
Okay, a very exuberant, sagacious hand is going to float down to the ground. The giant bonfire of energy just excitedly, did we get it?
It's contained.
Enthusiastically contained?
It is as gotten as it can be at the moment. So, huzzah, huzzah.
Ooh, we've got reverb.
Do Kel, is your button getting knocked again?
Nope.
Where is it coming from?
Culture's just too awesome.
Behold.
Let's stop
Oh,
now.
but it doesn't
I don't
do
know.
that.
It just happens occasionally. We'll just play on. So it's as contained as can be.
Yeah. Like, out of character, I am massively glowing. This is the first time this has ever happened. No one else is glowing, just me. So, I don't know. I don't know how to react to that other than awesome.
Wait, no, Tyrell glowing.
Yay! He's gonna land on the ground and come in for like the high five hug of victory. They're like, yes!
And Tyrell's like, whoa, no. You clearly have not dealt with Dragonblood before. You're gonna want to wait a half an hour, because I am a literal fire hazard.
Yes, you successfully did not burn yourself to death in a tree. Don't now immolate yourself.
It just kind of pulls back his shirt. There's burn marks, and I'm like, no, there was no successful not burnt about that. I'm injured, but if I need to wait like a half hour every time we do something cool before I high five my friend, that's gonna be worse. So screw it, and actually comes in for the high five. Like, nope, not gonna wait. Get a hug. We did it.
Somebody's gonna have to roll. Do we want to do initiative or decisive? Because that's 3 dice.
Well, not in combat, so it converts to damage. If you really
dear.
want to go, it's fine. All right.
Because that's the thing about the fire animal. Most
damage.
Dragon Bloods, it's 1 die of withering or decisive damage. For fire aspects, it's 3.
Ow.
It burns or hurts, but it's not like major.
Yeah. It's a-lethal?
A-lethal.
Yeah.
So were you already not injured, you wouldn't even be taking a wound penalty.
Wow. However, I'm already injured, so this brings me up to 3 lethal. Worth it. Sagacious then pulls her in for the hug, the arm around the shoulder, the exuberant, just there is light everywhere. It's like, look at me! Oh my gosh! You're on fire! I'm on fire!
Yeah, you should stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah, please, hand. Please. I don't want you to be more on fire.
Is the peat still on fire?
Yeah.
Everything's on fire?
Yeah. It's hot. Also, things are on fire.
Should we perhaps put out the fire?
Good luck, you know.
How do we put out a fire?
Time?
Well, depends. Was it always burning?
First thing I am going to do is look for a patch of something that's not flammable and kind of go station myself on it to let this kind of settle down. Because there are 2 things here that can handle Terrell at this moment. One is a dog, one is a horse.
There's a second horse that's riding around on rainbows that are coming off in different directions. There's a massive Kirin made of sunlight that's just galloping enthusiastically. Woo! Totemic!
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah, totally. I don't know how it works. I've never been totemic before. Do they do things?
Yeah.
Cool.
They are dramatic licensed for cool shit to happen. So if you're just going to sit and wait,
She's gonna at least make sure that she doesn't cause any more damage, cause like, yeah, she knows. She comes from a family of dragon blood. She knows what this is like. It's like sometimes it's just like deep breaths, let the fire in, let the fire in, let the fire in.
So Arthashasta's gonna wait a little bit and then check over to Rala to make sure she's okay, see if she needs any medical care. But he makes an explicit point while looking at Hand laying on the ground and looks and says, I, however, will not treat you for today's events. I explicitly told you to not hug the burning little girl, and you're going to have to deal with that on your own as a lesson for you constantly doing things that are ill-advised.
I accept your diagnosis. Reckless and awesome. What did you write?
From her little brood spot, go. It was pretty awesome.
Culture, sorry, can I just get a quick sound test from you?
La 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 la.
Oh.
Alright, cool, thank you.
I will spend a mote and grab the flute that belongs to Kalis Kodan and hand that back to him.
Kalis Kudan shall not be NPC'd by me, because that's off-putting for the player. So,
But I'm just like, I got it back. Okay, I don't know what to do.
well, you've set a lake on fire.
Check that one off the bucket list.
Yeah.
Cause natural disaster.
Should we do something about this smoke plume? I mean, considering you're not administering any medical aid, you're kind of free, dude.
Yes, but I mean, we cause an environmental crisis. This is just going to have to burn itself out. I do not believe your performers are sufficiently trained in fire safety techniques to deal with an inferno of this magnitude.
I don't think anyone is really equipped to deal with a fire of this magnitude.
Which is why I believe we shall leave it to nature.
That people have done that before, and then swaths are destroyed by fire. This wasn't exactly naturally occurring, points to Tarala. Have you got any suck it back in powers?
I mean, I've never tried that. I might be able to at least keep it from spreading?
Yeah?
Out of character, no. No, she doesn't. She doesn't have that charm from survival. Because she is only Essence 2. But
Alright.
no, she's gonna try and fail and be like, yeah, we're kind of all about starting the fire, not about putting it out. You might want to get, Arthashasta, you might want to go get your lady friend. She might be able to help.
Arthashasta sort of looks over at Hand and then back at you and says, I believe until other emanations of heat and light have been contained, which will also occur through the passage of time, we should not bring any other dragon-blooded around here. I don't exactly know her religious affiliation, and I may have told her that I was an exigent, which, in hindsight, I don't know if that was a bad idea for the
Why did
longevity
you
of our relationship.
The level of brightness that this is, you know, when I'm like, ooh, it's an Exalt, no amount of foxfire is going to mask this. So good call. Also, this is really bright.
Yeah, we kind of do that. You guys especially. Wow. Ah.
So, how long does this last?
Well, with
Give or take an hour.
yeah, with Dad, it was usually like, oh, if he was mad, we'd be like, okay, give it half an hour before you go in for the "it's all right, Dad" hug.
Ooh. Does it hurt if I hug you?
I don't know. I mean, I know for a fact that Dragon Blooded, like, this doesn't affect, like, if Jonas or Amphalad were here and, you know, if I were to place my hand on them, they wouldn't catch fire, they wouldn't burn. Dragon Blood, for some reason, don't feel anything for this. I have no idea about, because that's why I was concerned, because obviously it affects you, but I didn't feel anything from you. And then she looks at us and says, do you guys do this, you know, same way?
I'm gonna, like, stand up and touch Arthur. Like, am I warm?
I mean, in the sense that you're emitting light and light carries heat, but not in the same way that being an embodiment of fire is.
Alright. Time-wise,
I mean,
it took us a few hours to get out here. If you call Amphalad, then by the time she gets here, I should be less awesome.
Look, no. The light show will be less awesome. And don't ever sell yourself short.
We just trapped something in a tree.
Exactly.
That is actually a good point. I will be back in a bit.
What was that, sorry?
Arthur Shasta says that Hand makes a good point that by the time it takes him to go there and get back, he will no longer be glowing. So, off to go find his friend?
Friend? Is that what you're calling it now?
I don't really know what the parameters of our relationship is.
I thought she was fairly explicit. Okay, so Arthur Shasta's going to go for a walk while everyone else waits it out.
I think we're going to sit on the hill at a reasonably safe distance apart from each other, and just be like, oh my god, did you see this? Yes, oh my gosh, and you jumped off the horse! Then you grabbed each other's hands and we did the thing! That was awesome!
Oh yeah, Taralis totally, like once he's gone, she totally geeks out, because, like, this is the first big fight she's been in since, the day she exalted. And this one didn't involve any dead family members.
Yeah.
So, you know, less of trauma and more geeking, and the fact that she's still a teenager, and, you know, I mean, if Dragon Ball Z were out, like, in this era, she would totally be watching the crap out of it.
Actually, before I leave, we left the king with John and Kamasenin. I'm gonna check in on those two.
Okay. Well, the king and Gamakama Senin are still in the midst of their... Because he said it was going to take him several hours.
Oh, okay.
So, essentially what's happening at the moment, when you go by and sort of check on them, is that the King Alexander Marcus is sort of... sorry, one moment. Yes? You can't keep coming in, buddy. No icy pulse. Alright?
Close the door.
He's been dressed down to his drawers and sort of taking a almost spa bath in this giant pot of stew that Gamakama Senin has made, and he's sort of got a small fire going underneath it. It's, you know, softly bubbling away, and he's sort of just giving it an occasional. So it definitely looks like he is cooking the king for him. You know, but you have the assurances that he's in no actual danger.
I mean, that seems sort of in keeping with Galacundason's themes and aesthetics. So, in normal situations, I'd be concerned that someone was cannibalizing the king, but I think this is probably just par for the course with him.
Yay. How are you getting back and forth? Do you have a horse animal you're riding? Are you riding your hump? Does he run particularly quickly?
I am walking.
You're walking. Okay, so it does take you several hours just to get back to.
I mean, you don't want to borrow Karanthar? Like, of anybody, Tarala could probably get him to trust you, given you're good with animals.
Probably. Arthur Sasha doesn't actually know how to ride a horse. He will tame a horse. He
respects the horse too much to ride.
I just see the way, like, okay, like the way he gets out of a horse, he just kind of flops over like a blank. It's like, I think this is right.
He just stands in front of it with his arms out. Carry me. Why isn't this working? Okay, so it does take several hours to get back to the city proper. So we're sort of pushing into the wee hours of the morning now. The mists still blanket the city proper, so everyone is dead to the world. But if you take a care to go through and explore, you can find Onfalade in her chambers, just soundly asleep. She's got no reason to be up moving around. So I don't know, it's like 3 in the morning when you come across her. She's just sound asleep in her bed.
I will just appearing in her room and waking her up's a little creepy. I will go back out and knock on the door and try and wake her up.
Okay, it takes a couple tries before she finally responds, and she's just got this big loose shirt hanging over her, and just pulls the door open, rubs at her eyes. Oh, hey, hi.
Hey, we may have caused a small uncontrolled blaze on the edge of the territory. I wasn't sure if you'd be interested in coming with us and trying to either observe the event or try and put it out.
May have.
Absolutely. We absolutely caused a peat fire.
That's terrible news. It's really early in the morning. Does this have to be dealt with right now?
Based on the depth of the bog, the richness of the loam, and the size of the field, I think it will probably continue to burn for at least several more weeks. So, no, I guess it doesn't have to be dealt with right now.
Huh.
But good morning. It's nice seeing you.
I'm sorry, that was rude of me. Would you like to come in?
Yeah, sure.
Great. In you come. What?
I'm just imagining the sun rises and Arthur Shasta hasn't come back. And just like, he's getting laid. He's getting laid.
Everyone back at the Exalted is like, did you just send him out a booty call? Because I don't think we're hearing from him.
So the sun rises and Arthur Shasta hasn't returned.
Terrell's just like, right. It's before breakfast.
Well, like, if someone says, quick, you gotta help me put out this fire, that's a conversation starter.
So you guys stayed up all night?
Yeah, we're watching the tree. Like, what if it suddenly cracks open or something? So yeah, let's...
Because of the nature of its creation, it is surprisingly heat resistant. The fire is showing no danger of damaging it, but it does smolder pretty hard. The roaring bonfire by this point has sort of settled, and it's just sort of like this searing, roiling smolder across the lake. It's still issuing forth this horrible, smelly, black smoke up into the sky, and this cloud is just getting bigger and spreading. Also almost makes it difficult for the for you to see the sun when it rises.
Oh wow.
We're not talking like Ice Age level cloud here, but it's quite thick.
I, the player, know nothing about putting out this sort of fire. Is there any sort of intelligence or lore roll to know what to do to, fix? Like folklore of there was once a big fire and we did XYZ.
Well, this wouldn't be the first ever peat fire ever in creation, so there's bound to be some knowledge about it somewhere.
Yeah.
So if you have a related lore specialty, you can try and make a roll if you like.
Folklore? Oh.
Would there be folklore about peat fires? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
Okay, 7 dice.
7 dice. 5, 6, 7. Rip. 4 successes.
Woo!
So, the GM doesn't actually know how real world people deal with horribly
I'm
burning
looking
peat
it
fires.
up right now, and I think the answer is modern chemicals. or using heavy construction equipment to dig enough deep enough that you can get under the peat and separate them, but it's kind of a bog, so it doesn't really obey the laws of staying in place like you were digging in a field.
Because I can imagine the next few hours since Arthrashasta left is just us staring up at this beautiful forming cloud. I suppose we could use the flute to blow really hard and get it in, we could make a triangle shape, but that doesn't get rid of the actual issue.
So there is obviously a folk tale about in the north actually, there was this, it's not known necessarily as a peat fire, but it's a story about Gogo the Giant, who was from one of those northern tribes that just happened to be extra especially massive. He's 10-foot tall guy, absurdly muscular, all that sort of stuff. And he did a whole bunch of really cool stuff. One of the things that he did was he had to sort of, take care of these bad guys that were threatening his village, you see. But to get to them, he had to sort of, to perform the alpha strike he wanted to perform, he had to get across, the ever-burning, not unlike this one, that was just, and had been for a very long time, up in the north. And so he, sort of, using his enormously muscular body and his great big hands, he sort of just, dug deep trenches and turned the earth over and all that sort of stuff. And so the lake doesn't burn anymore, and then he was able to cross it. You don't know whether the story is true or not.
Alright, out of character. Kel, should we dig a hole for the next few hours, or will we just let it burn and let nature take its course, TM?
Tarala is kind of like, I have no clue how to deal with this. And, I mean, I did, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the chat right now. It's always Go-Go, why can't
you be more like
Go-Go?
Google Canis?
I mean, I'm just gonna say, like, he could probably flip the bog. You know, just like it was a soccer lion. Just flip the bog.
Okay, let's... After it seems clear, like, it's like, Arthur should at least be on his way back by now. And then it starts... He should have been back by now. It wouldn't have taken... Alright.
Yeah, no, you know, he's doing full well what you think he's doing. He is very into her.
Yeah.
Her obnoxious laugh and all.
Yep. Was into her last night, into her this morning, into where every single morning. Alright. Meanwhile,
Look,
I've got a mirror.
I'm just saying, I swear, it was not meant to hurt you. I was seriously doing this just to tick off my uncle.
So not for your dear friend Arthur Shasta's sake, it was pure spite?
Okay, a little bit was because a little bit was for Arthur Shasta, but it was mostly spite.
Yeah, it's usually the other way. It's like, oh, I suppose there's a little... No, it's... You are flipped. And you know what? Let's deal with this. And so he's going to pick up the mirrors that were dropped by the group, and start shoving them into the ground to be like makeshift. What were they called?
Barriers.
Trench. Start trying to dig down.
You get about 20 minutes into this endeavor.
Sorry.
Yeah, it'd be
That was me
surprisingly
attempting to
stable on
access
play.
the chat, and then Twitch has sound.
It does. You get about 20 minutes into this endeavor when the sun has now fully risen, and Alpha returns with Onflood.
Yay!
Curiously, wearing the same thing he was wearing last night. Or should I say not wearing the same thing he was wearing last night. They're wearing its other shirts or something, I don't know. I'm sorry, that was a bad joke. Onflood and Arthur Shasta return. Wow. That's a big fire.
We outdid ourselves this time.
This time.
I mean, well, okay, yeah, for you this is the... Right. Never mind.
Arthur Shasta sort of nods at Tarala and is like, she's been blessed by his chiefs, and I have a fire-breathing dog. This is not the first time we have dealt with...
Oh, good, she knows. Good.
Planned fires.
Good. You actually say this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, good. She knows. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Dragon blood. Yeah.
Sagacious hand, we've met. Good morning. Grab a mirror, or start. Help us, almighty dragon blood. We have no idea.
Oh, please explain. What is it exactly that you're doing?
There's about 100 or more spirits inside that tree that has now been turned to stone. And everything is still on fire.
The fire is my fault.
Just kind of leans, looks at Johan.
He helped.
Good dog.
Right.
The short of it is, as far as we know, salt, seeds of grain, and fire harm spirits. unfortunately, the only thing that seemed to work also harms humans.
Sorry, there's a lot of stuff happening. I don't know if it's coming through. There's a lot of stuff happening in the background here. The kids are noisy today, as always. Well, is this a problem?
I mean, I don't necessarily think so, but I know you and Yunnan are interested in purging this area, and I wasn't sure if an intact peat bog was something that was important to your plans.
No, we could probably deal with this.
Tarala points over the tree. What about that?
The what, sorry?
Tarala points over to the tree. What about that? Like I said, the 100 some odd ghosts in the petrified tree.
Is that frankincense?
It is. Good news.
It seems to be working.
Yeah, we were kind of thinking something more long-term, that not in this real estate, but general plane of existence. Can we say, like, shunt them off?
Well, for that you would need an exorcist. And as I understand, you have a Sohai at your disposal.
We're not entirely sure where he has gone off to.
I see. Right, well, go and get another one. This has been Unflood. Do you still need my help?
I guess not.
Wait, if JP can make fire, can't you make water?
No. Yes, but no, not that
Well-
much. And that won't help.
Doesn't water put out fire?
It's already in water. If it was going to do anything, it would have done something by now.
More water?
Well, you see, the problem is that the peat will continue to burn no matter how deep you bury it in the water. It won't actually get rid of the problem. It might sort of smother it a little bit, but it will keep burning until such time as the water dries out, at which point it will just engulf into flame again.
Well, can't you suck out all the water? No, you couldn't suck out all the flame. Can you suck out all the water?
No.
What happens if we bury it? Bury it with lots of water or lots of earth?
Then it will continue to smolder, probably for a few generations.
Okay.
Alternatively, you could dig it up, make the process go by faster.
With a seemingly endless fire on one hand, and a season until we may have more ghosts. We have more problems than we should really have to deal with.
I mean, alternatively, I suppose, if you want to convince, if you want to try and convince Yunin to do something more specific about it, I suppose you could invest some sort of mystical bent into it that could potentially solve your problem. But you need to talk to him about that. He is a sorcerer, you know. Very powerful. Learn. I am his student.
Are you a sorcerer?
No.
Are you trying to become a sorcerer?
No.
Why aren't you trying to become a sorcerer?
Why aren't you trying to become a soldier?
Who says I'm not?
That get up.
Is amazing, but not answering my question.
I thought I answered your question quite succinctly.
Arthur Shelster, as the only person who has not been on fire this evening, call is yours.
Arthashasta gets this look on his face like, oh god, I don't want to make an ass of myself in front of Yunnan again when I have to explain that I'm asking for his help because I caused an uncontrollable fire. It's like, well, Yunnan probably is going to be busy with his negotiations with Alexander Marcus. We could try and locate another spiritualist to help us.
Great, so it's a group. You don't need my help, and you're finding someone else.
Oh, okay. Should we just leave this burn and find, like, contact Root and be like, do you know anyone? Should we drag it away from the thing that's on fire? Like...
Yeah, Elk, can we unroot the tree and transport it with us without disturbing the spirits within?
I don't know. You would probably need to ask a spiritualist about that one. You know, it's a shame he walked away. He went away. He was an endearing character, wasn't he?
Okay.
Arthashasta sort of looks at you and says, if we want to do this right, and I do believe we have now well moved past the point in time where we should continue half-assing things, we should go to Saijin. I know of no circumstances where a host of dragon-blooded spirits merge together into a composite being and then we're bound in a tree. But I am actually fairly confident that is something that they will have a treatise already written up on that has been well referenced for hundreds of years.
Well, as long as we can find someone who can cite their sources, let's go. More than we've had previously. Let's... Are we taking the tree there? Are we finding someone and bringing them here?
I think we should bring someone here.
Yeah, I don't feel safe uprooting the tree just because if we do, there's the possibility we break it and then pop the ghost and then we have to fight it again. And this time we might not have a tree to shove it into.
Okay. Well, logistically, travelling to Sajan from here will take about 3 weeks, if I counted it correctly on the map. So, assuming you are travelling by land, that's 3 weeks there, 3 weeks back, which gives you 3 weeks to find and convince somebody. Or pay someone. But that's also you being away for 3 months.
Oh god, actually bringing out the map, it's like, okay. We could get somewhere closer, maybe someone who knows their stuff but not necessarily from Sajan or was from Sajan but now is, and just like the finger on the map pointing at Great Forks, it's like, it's closer.
I do have contacts there.
God damn it.
It's a great idea. Why do you seem so reserved?
I don't like Great Forks.
Oh, that's a fantastic.
Oops, sorry.
No, what's not to like about Great Forks?
What's not to like about Great Forks?
So, how long will it take if you have contacts in Grey Forks, how long will it take to find someone there who knows how to deal with spirits, rather than all the way to Sajan? Anyone know how to...
It's the eternal gamble of, do you take the risk for greater reward, or do you do the tried and true thing? If we go to Sajan, we absolutely will find someone that can help us. If we go to Great Forks, we are rolling the dice.
Alright, Sajan it is!
I'm down for Sajan.
Great. Good luck.
Okay, I will make plans, maybe have Kalis play on his flute dulcet tones to the tree, inspiring it to not be murderous, seeing if it can, for the next few weeks, like, be its guardian, be both the emotional, spiritual well-being. He's gonna have constant songs to inspire it to be better. Have you tried not being spiteful and vengeful?
Okay.
So,
Well, what we'll do is, this is where we'll take our first break for today. It will hopefully be short, because every time I take 15 minutes, we go for like 20, 25, 30 minutes. So I'm going to say short break, however long that's going to end up being. A short break. We'll have a quick discussion as players as to exactly where we want to pick up from here. We are missing Kalos Mudan at the moment. Unfortunately, Plucky, despite the fact he's being in chat, is unwell and unable to be on screen. So we just need to find a way to move forward and find a kicking off spot to do that. So we'll do that on the break. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you all in a short while. everybody. I have no idea how long the break was. Longer than I expected it to be. But that's okay. We're here. We're back. Thank you for watching. So the players have, we've talked about it as players, as I mentioned we would do prior to the break, and we've decided to pick up directly from Sejan. So the idea is that what the group is looking for is a spiritualist who can help them put a permanent stop on this creature that has attacked them. Because whilst they're able to render it immobile for about a season, as we've discussed before, there's the danger of it sort of, breaking out and causing problems and havoc and all that sort of jazz. So they need to deal with that. So where they're going is Sejan. If anyone has a copy of the map, you can find it very quickly on Google. Sejan is many hundreds of miles due west, sort of northwest. There's this great big river that cuts through the eastern continental area of creation, and the Hundred Kingdoms sort of sits on the northern shore of the eastern part of that river as it starts forking out and becoming other rivers. So their journey would entail them getting down to a river, finding a barge of some kind, and booking passage down the river. It's called the Yanazi, the White Dragon River, to carry them the distance across this long thing. It's going to take them several weeks to get there, even by river. They pass some fairly major metropolitan areas along the way, but we've decided that nothing particularly important happened during those times. Unless someone wants to do something at any particular layover at, say, for example, Great Forks or Nexus, before the Yanazi gets out into its delta before Lookshy, a river that I forget the name of, actually.
Yellow River goes down.
Yes, but you're not going down, you're going north. The Yanazi sort of splits off into other rivers sort of join the Yanazi, so they're going to head north, going up a river, and there's this island nation sort of sitting on this islet that sort of occupies a place on that northern running river called Sejan. And Sejan is well known because it's a tomb city. The place is full of not ancestor cults and worship necessarily, although probably, but they know how to properly inter the dead. Their whole culture is based around taking care of the deceased, such that these very problems that they're facing down in Kalor don't happen. They properly treat corpses either through mummification or cremation or any other sort of rites appropriate for the various culture, so that the spirit that occupies the body doesn't become enraged and hateful. So if anyone is going to be able to help them, it would probably be one of the spirit tenders from Sejan. Now, Sejan has traveling doctors who go back and forth around. Sometimes they pick up corpses and bring them back to Sejan for the particularly wealthy. So long-running, other than sort of the dynastic families of the Blessed Isle, any particularly rich person probably has some sort of family tomb or crypt here in Sejan that is looked after by the Sejanese population. And so this sort of towering city of the best way to describe it, I suppose, is any of those sort of late medieval era Gothic setting games, like Thief actually is probably a good example, where it's spooked out. Hi Beans, thanks for watching. It's got, because they don't have a lot of like horizontal real estate, or at least they did, but they've been here for so long that they use all of that up. So now they're building up and they're building down. So there's these great sort of underground tombs, and there's these great sort of above ground obelisks and things. So it's Spider-Man's heaven, probably. Other than Manhattan Island, it's probably the most suited for web slinging, if you get my drift. But the nature of the city, because it's such a center for death, the departed, the veil between, the city itself occupies the Shadowlands. So like Kaldor was, this place is, except they don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. It's just part of their work, which means that some of the ancestor ghosts that occupy the city actually live here as citizens. Now this is against the Immaculate Teachings and the Immaculate Doctrine, so they sometimes get issues with Immaculate monks visiting, sort of raising hell, that sort of stuff. But generally speaking, they're well enough protected and important enough for the stability of the region around them, that the realm, wouldn't sort of come in on full scale at any point, and sort of it's not important enough for that. How did you write a message in there without me noticing? Yeah, but without me noticing. My question. Probably because I was occupied. So the scene would open up on the group have been travelling by river for several weeks now. Every night you would make landfall, unless you were on a particularly barren strait of the Unazi. They would dock the ship. Along the way, you probably had to deal with bandit raids of some kind. There are soldiers on the ship. This is the sort of thing that they deal with all the time. So some of the bandits are paid off. Some of them actually have to be fought. Whether you take part in that sort of action or not is up to you. But generally speaking, largely the trip has been uneventful. You haven't really gotten up to anything in particular. Arthur Shuster, you mentioned you wanted to do some animal training. Is that going to be possible on a ship?
Johann, yes. Elephant, less so. Elephant's probably going to stay behind if we're going on a boat. That's just a lot of extra space and tonnage and food that we have to pay for. So if we're not going overland, Gregor will remain behind. Also, if he's a little unruly and surly, angry elephant is probably something you do not want on a river voyage.
I mean, I am perfectly content with us having... Wow, that was strange and uneventful. Yeah, it's weird for an Exalt.
But yeah, Johann, I should be able to train him.
So you're not the only passengers who are coming here to Sajan, but the early morning mist parts relatively quickly to the life-giving rays of the sun, and sort of splitting apart and making this Gotham-like city sort of just almost suddenly appear above you. It's like you don't necessarily notice it until you're in its shadow, and then it just very suddenly looms like a horror movie reveal. The ship comes in and... Sorry, lots of sound happening around us. I don't know if you can hear it. Doing that growling thing again.
The ship comes into the mist party.
So the ship slides into the dock. The other passengers getting off, showing their papers. Do you have a listed legitimate reason to be here in Sajan? Would you have officiated that in any way, or would you just be sort of, coming in as unlisted travellers? Because that's not illegal here. Like, you're not going to not get in if you don't have a reason.
No, I don't think we would have filled out some sort of embassy pass or anything like that.
No, perfect.
Quick show of hands. Out of the three of us, who's really invested in bureaucracy and following the letter of the law? Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, those who have filled out the paperwork obviously get preferential treatment, so you're asked to wait. And there's just a very simple sort of interview process when you sort of step off the boat onto the dock. There's a lieutenant to the harbour master whose name is Lance, sort of a man in his mid-30s. He's got long hair, it sits about his, I don't know, frames his face, it's auburn. He's physically probably very similar to Sagacious Hand, probably more lithe than he is strong, although the way that his sword sits so comfortably at his waist, even without training necessarily in the art of using a weapon for combat, as is Arthur Shuster, I think, it's obvious it's just sort of part of him. It's not forgotten. It's like any slight movement. There's like sometimes he just has to tap it with his hand to sort of just move it out of the way so it can sit on a seat. It's all just completely part of his rhythm. So he's used to being there. So you're sure that he's not a newbie with the blade. But he's sitting there at the desk. He seems relatively polite and simply just asks, "Who are you, and why are you here?"
We're on a diplomatic mission for the nation of Kaldor. We're in need of an exorcist.
A diplomatic mission? Would you have the seal of your nation?
Unfortunately, the sovereignty of our city-state is not widely recognized.
Okay, so you're travelers from Kaldor who are looking for a exorcist.
Sure.
Well, I'm terribly sorry you've come to the wrong place. We don't have any of those here. It'll be, I don't know, 3 silver.
Just hand over the 10.
What do you, how do you hand it?
Actual silver.
No, like, do you sort of reach into your pocket and surreptitiously pull 10 silver out of, or do you sort of pull it out and sort of open it up and sort of just count it out and then hand, like, what is the quality of you handing this? Like, this becomes important later, I swear.
The quality is, having, out of character here, having 5 dots in larceny, the idea of going, I'm just going to lift out, ta-ting, pling pling, it seems, hello, but almost I want them to, so no, it's more likely that it's just like random coins everywhere to the point where you guys have probably been getting undressed on the cruise and like, how did this get here? Like, it's all about setup. So there's coins everywhere, hidden all over people's persons. Like you find playing cards, you find random feathers, and it's just leave it. It's for later. So it's the like hand in here to be just exactly what is needed. The idea of having exactly 1 silver each. So it's either a whole bunch of like small change or just one big one. So I'll whip out a big one and give him a 10.
Well, this isn't exactly like D&D where you just have like fistfuls of coins to hand to people. Silver is often sort of cut through the middle, so you can have a piece of string with a set amount of. So instead of like notes, that you just have like tied together like 5 silver or something. So you can just go, well, here's a string of silver.
Cool.
That sort of thing. And so like it's up to you exactly how you want to present it. If you want just like a fistful of coins, you can do that. But that would be heavy.
It would.
Just carrying that much coin.
It would, but that's why the good Lord gave us 3 strength.
Pockets.
You're not going to produce it from behind his ear?
I'd love to, but I don't think I should flirt yet. So.
I don't know. Have we already had... Did you say this is morning right now?
Yeah, so it's morning.
Okay, so yeah, we haven't had breakfast yet.
You can decide whether you had breakfast yet.
For the purpose
No,
of the joke.
the ship captain was really stingy on meals, and so he's timed your arrival specifically so that you get off before breakfast, so he doesn't have to feed you.
Ah, there we go.
That is a commendable amount of stinginess. As a manager, I approve of his level of just fiscal control.
I've been on flights like that. Anyway. So once the payment is made, again, he asks who you are. So, do you introduce yourselves by name or by aliases or how?
I will give my name. I will let other people answer because I have a bad history of destroying other people's aliases.
I mean, at this point, she goes, she's still doing Jade Phoenix Soul because last thing she needs to know is if somehow Uncle Jonas is here as well.
There's a debutante ball where 2 girls.
Man, he sounds so creepy. It's like, and I'm here. Another debutante ball? Dude!
He's looking for a wife, I guess. He's not married. Like, it's not beyond reason.
Sagacious Hen will introduce himself as himself whilst producing the coins, do the flip and just general flipping into the hand. It's been a long journey.
There's an obvious sort of like murmured, gaspy whisper as Sagacious was that Sagacious Hen? Oh, the Exalted Excelsior? Oh my god! Like, so just like a ripple of conversation, so that you know that your name is known.
Nice.
And you've obviously performed before or something.
Yeah, and I just introduce you and my associate. I don't go into any further other than that. And so I asked for directions for, like, you know, we're interested in finding anyone regarding spiritual, like exorcisms and knowledge regarding spirits, and I asked for recommended accommodation near the place that we're looking for, and directions for like the tombs in general. Like for
what directions to the tombs?
Yeah, as in whereabouts are people who died in Sejan as opposed to having been brought from somewhere else? Where are they in the city? Like, is there a section? Like, how are they organized? Is it alphabetized by name? Is it areas within creation that they are brought to Sejan to be interred? Like, I like, culturally I'm curious, but also ulterior motive.
Do you say ulterior motive?
Yes!
Well, the greater tombs aren't for everybody, and most of the populace here, you know, either because of personal belief or because of, you know, space saving, unless they are of a specific noble family and they already have a family tomb, are probably cremated. Which is not sort of buried anywhere, though. And their ashes either cast to the wind or into the river. So there's no sort of like local population graveyard or anything like that. If you're rich enough to have a family tomb, then you're probably interred there, either cremated or not. More than likely, most of the populace of the city, though, if they aren't, like, you know, ghosts who live forever and leave no corpse, or like the family of those ghosts and things like that, then and they're poor, then they are probably just cremated, you know, blessed and everything like that, and then cast off into the wind, which is completely reverent and not like a dismissal of them at all, because that's just the nature of the job.
Is there a records house that would have records of, like, who's gone where? Like,
is there a reason you're asking this information? Lance actually asked you. Is there flat out, like, is there a reason you're asking for this information? It's
I was born here, and I don't know where to look for my mother.
See, well, if you were born here, and you don't already know that information, it's likely that she's not still alive and available for you to ask this question, probably cremated and scattered to the wind.
Okay. Thank you very much.
There is a public library. Not a public library that we would understand, like a publicly available to the elite.
There's a library that requires at least this much gold to enter.
You could always just ask people.
Yeah. Oops, there's a lid on that.
Taxi!
Sagacious Hand, thanks, Lance. It's like 35 years ago. I don't really know who would know, but no harm asking, so thank you for the information.
It's not too long. I'm sure there's someone around who would know.
Yeah.
You could go to the spirit courts. Maybe someone there would know.
Well, we can do it. Thank you.
Do you know her name, at least?
I don't. Do I? Should I?
Do you want to? Do you know your father's name?
I should? Do I, though? I made a character with a blank, this person has a mother, this person has a father. I did not give names. Should I?
Well, your father's name is Arundel.
Arundel. That is a cool name.
Thank you. I just made it up. Please write it down so I don't forget it.
And my mother's name?
Well, did you ever ask your father what your mother's name was?
Yes. And what did he say?
Serene.
Was it Serene Hand?
No.
Damn.
So, Elk, how flustered does he get when he has to write down Arthur Shasta's last name?
There's not enough ink.
You know, parchment's expensive, right?
I hadn't really considered it, but I suppose he's used to just writing a lot of people's names down, so... it's his job to record information here. So it's not... he probably asks you to spell it for him, but beyond that, no, he's not that put out by it. It's not the strangest. You're not the only Yenin who has wandered. So it's not that strange, I suppose I would say.
Cool. Is his name Arundel something? Or is it... I'm just understanding culture-wise. Is it Sagacious Hand, son of someone...
I thought Sagacious Hand was a title.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's his name. His name.
His name is
Yeah.
Sagacious Hand. Okay, well, that's not a problem. Because you see, like a lot of really cool-sounding Japanese names, when you say it in Japanese, it doesn't sound like a phrase to us Westerners. It just sounds like a name. Like, Sakura, for example, is cherry blossoms. But if you walked up to someone and said, your name is Cherry Blossom, they'd be like, I don't know if I gel with that necessarily. So it probably sounds different in the language, but nonetheless, you're called Sagacious Hand.
Cool.
So, I don't know.
That's okay. We can figure out...
I hadn't really thought of that.
No.
So come back to me on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, the Onyx Path. That is a handsome dice roller. That is your dice roller.
Oh.
Thank you for noticing. It is pretty. I purchased the Exalted dice and the Exalted background, which I'm very happy with, which is why I got that there.
It's incredibly GM favoured, I feel.
What?
What?
Look, there's no fudging going on. Everyone can see when I roll.
Oh yes, we're quite aware of the botches. Thank you. So yes, having acquired information, having paid both the fee and a bit extra, I think we are good to find some actual lodgings and then head off to locate someone.
Okay, so I don't want to go like full noir with this one, but that's the sort of feel I have with Sejan, just in my creation, because TM. how are you going to go about trying to source information? There's no, as I mentioned, there's no like. There's no like public database, as I mentioned, for you to sort of just go and peruse. If you want to get that kind of specific type of information, you're going to need to sort of engage with the more elite class, because that information just isn't freely available. So my question is, how are we going to engage with this information gathering? Are you going to just like hit a dive bar and start asking questions? Are you going to sort of canvass the town? Are you going to just walk up to a rich-looking noble person and hand them some money? Or how are you going to engage with this? Because you don't. Wait, does someone have contacts here already? No. Okay, cool. So you don't really know anyone here yet. So you're new. How are you going to introduce yourself into finding information?
I am going to walk to the this sounds bad, but the rich area, and just start going like relatively middle class at the moment, working my way up to just go and knock on the door and introduce myself and say, "Hi, I'm looking for information regarding Serene Hand." Well, not hand, but Serene.
Yeah, Serene Hand.
Serene, yeah, Serene Hand. Yeah, I'm looking for information.
It's almost as if we planned it all along.
I'm looking for information regarding Serene Hand. My name is Sagacious Hand, and relatively enough of a flourish with charisma and presence to, like, not ta-da, but that actually utilizing that influence, having been here before, having done several shows, that to get the foot in the door, to be asking questions about, like, did they know her? Like, was she interred or was she cremated? But like, going in the middle class upwards areas, just basically door knocking, and whilst there, finding out, like, if they live in Sejan, chances are they've probably got someone on call who is an exorcist, or trained in that way, like, the upper levels people, or there is rumors of, oh my gosh, this guy is super skilled but doesn't work, like, why didn't he accept this exorbitant pay, instead he's working in the lower sections, just to try and get some information of, like, should we be going low or should we be going high, like the high paid exorcist or the lower paid exorcist? Are we even looking for an exorcist? Or?
Well, I mean, you started that saying you're looking for your mum.
Mm.
So are the other two joining Sagacious Hand on this journey, or are you splitting up, or what's the plan?
I think we should stay focused on our goal, but I'm also really curious as to what the hell Sagacious Hand's past is. I have multiple intimacies towards this. So I'm going to let this play out, and I'm going to be surreptitiously taking notes behind his back because I'm recording things.
While this is going on, Terrell is actually going to help out, like, just asking questions, like, just saying, like recommendation from exorcists and things. She does want to make sure that happens, because she does kind of feel bad that there is now a super fire that is her fault. At least she might be able to help stop the ghost. But as she does, her ability to deal with people over the course of an hour gets better and better, because I have the charm friend to all nations attitude. And over the course of an hour, she actually develops a specialty in socialize on the Sejanese.
Oh my god, that's really cool.
Yep.
Charms in motion.
You're on fire today.
Just like that time that was a few weeks ago, but feels like yesterday. So most of the houses you go to, either in the rich area at least, either just sort of have a simple butler who comes to the door, or otherwise sort of like not. You know those door knocking montages where it's like, it's just the camera's just watching the person ask the camera, but you know that it's in front of different doors and you see the doors opening and closing in front of them. It's that sort of
I like it.
experience, you don't necessarily
like the Book of Mormon.
I haven't seen it.
Seen it. I'm sorry.
Okay, like anything that involves starting with Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses or anything.
Hi, would you like to talk about our slam?
Basically that.
I've seen black books, but he invites them in, so. But yeah, so it's that sort of experience. So like you go to a lot of places, and don't necessarily end up with no information, but not a lot of relevant information. So you spend most of the day talking to people. But there is sort of one last state that you do come to where when you knock on the door, rather than the door being opened and answered, the gargoyle standing next to the door sort of just turns and asks what you're doing here.
Hi, hello.
Greetings. What would you like of the master?
Hello, my name is Sagacious Hand. I am here with some associates from Yemen. We're looking for information regarding Serene Hand and perhaps any contacts you might have for spiritual advisors or exorcists.
I can request information from the master. Who, may I ask, is asking for such information? He doesn't say such. Who's asking? He's very direct.
Sagacious Hand of the Ebullient Excelsior.
And
Jade Phoenix Soul.
and
Arthur Shasta.
sorry, one moment. Yes. What's wrong? Just stop. What's wrong? You fell down.
Come here.
Are you hurt?
Let me see. Where'd you hurt? You're okay. No, you just got scared. You're okay. Also, you're eyeing off the TV, which means you're definitely fine. Have you had lunch? Did you eat your sandwich?
Sorry.
Okay. Weebix, hey! Okay.
If you're really hurt, I suggest laying down. Otherwise, you can go back to playing. Okay?
Where'd you go?
Love you.
Who's asking, and we just went through our
Yeah,
names?
sorry. Jade Phoenix Soul and Arthur Shuster.
I cannot pronounce your last name.
I used to be able to.
Something ill.
Yi-Wen. It ends in yen. Wee-yen.
Wien.
Are you talking about me?
Yen.
Are you saying you're having trouble pronouncing Ragan Belis and Vinderkala Yen?
Yeah, that one.
I can't see why.
So, the creature sort of just takes in all this information, advises you that it's going to speak to its master, and goes back to its pedestal and becomes inanimate again. And you're standing there waiting for about 10 minutes.
Terrell is honestly just curious, and she's just kind of looking over this thing. That's really cool.
If you do look at it, you notice there's no sort of folds or joins or sort of joints or anything like that. It's the rock simply moves as if it was flesh and muscle.
Is this some sort of sorcery?
Could be. Do you have a sorcerer in the group who could analyze it?
Hi.
If that's sorcery, I want to learn sorcery.
I mean, once you learn how to master the essence of the universe, anything's achievable.
Sorry?
I said, once you learn how to master the essence of the universe, anything's achievable.
And out of character, it is the right of all dragon-blooded to master sorcery.
So such constructs aren't like unheard of in the world of sorcery, but like the more you think about it, and as you gaze around, you notice like this. So this city doesn't have much in the way of, as I mentioned, horizontal real estate, and yet this area is somehow secluded. It's got just that little bit more lawn. It's got that little bit more garden that sort of just sets it apart from everything else. so you can tell that whether the person here just prefers privacy or whether the rest of the city wants to be a little bit further away from them, there is a soft divide between this estate and the rest of the city. And after about 10 minutes of no response, the door finally opens and this young man, probably about 28 or so, answers the door. Says, Master Hand, Mistress Jade, and Master... did you give your last name, or did you say Arthur Shasta?
Oh yeah, I gave him the whole name.
Okay, so the NPCs will always be much better at remembering this than I am, but he's able to say your name.
Cool.
Are we racist?
Why do you say that?
Yemen names, man. Cannot.
I mean, I don't think it's bigoted to say his name's complicated when I deliberately picked an incredibly complicated name structure for this culture. I think that's you calling it out as it is.
For anyone who's not necessarily in the know, Culture Shock has decided that his character's surname is a phonetic conglomeration of at least one syllable from each of his different fathers' surnames. So it's like 12 syllables long, and it's just difficult to say off the top of your head unless you're looking at a character sheet and can read it.
Tip of your tongue.
So the young man opens the door. Probably young only compared to Arthur Shastra and Sagacious Hand, as I mentioned, probably around mid-20s, is obviously older than Tarala. Tarala, unless anyone has forgotten, is 14, and does not look a day older than 14. So he sort of greets you, welcomes you inside, doesn't introduce himself at all. I know it's been several weeks, but you're probably used to the decorum of, say, Mason. Probably used to the decorum of Mason, who was a very sort of orderly. This is just like someone's been plucked up off the street and said, look, when someone like comes in, just answer the door and like give him some shit. So he sort of opens the door. Goes, oh yeah, come in. Says all your names. Welcome in. Here, sit here. If you want something to drink, it's over there. If you want something to eat, then kitchen's not on at the moment, so too bad.
Thank you. What's your name?
Kyle.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Sagacious Hand.
Sagacious Hand will swan in and start pouring some drinks.
Yeah, help yourself, that's good. Most people ask me to do it, and I wasn't going to, so thanks.
Do you want one?
No.
Alright.
So, Master will be down in, a while. So what's up?
I'm assuming it was a yes regarding some information. We're looking for anyone who might happen to know Serene Hand. More importantly, anyone particularly versed with spirits, exorcism, moving on to the great beyond.
Most people in this town have some sort of profession surrounding that, yeah.
Yeah, we're looking for a little bit higher than some.
The Master's probably pretty good.
Yeah, so that's why we thought maybe we'd come and say hi. What's your Master's name?
I was thinking about that. I was trying to buy some time.
See, I was about to do like a read intentions thing to see if this is where Kyle was actually the master and testing us.
Grandmaster
here you
Kyle.
go, and I totally didn't use anything as inspiration for this. The Onyx Lord of the Ashen Path. Please write that down. I will forget it.
The Onyx Lord of the Ashen Path.
Yeah.
Nice name.
Yeah.
How'd you happen to come into her service?
I was built.
Built?
Yep.
Are you a construct as well?
Yes. Was that not obvious?
No, his craftsmanship is exquisite. You look very much like a A living human being.
Oh, damn.
Why? Do you want to look like something else?
Ah, well, you know.
Well, as a living human being myself, I'd say don't knock it until you try it. It has a lot of advantages. Can you taste things? Eating stuff is very enjoyable.
I can. Is that important?
To each their own, I guess.
Mostly we're waiting and just trying to be friendly. Do you have many people come calling?
No.
No? Are we the first people you've seen?
No.
Oh, good.
You're the first that stayed this long, though.
Oh, nice. What usually happens?
People leave.
Oh. Wait, because the wait is so long?
I don't know. I never asked.
Oh.
So why, like, you said why you were here, but like, how do you, like, make this last longer?
What, conversation?
Yes.
Ah. Usually people reveal intimate details about themselves. Like, why don't you start?
Were you constructed in a way that allows you to...
Yeah, I was made by the master and have served them for, like, a long time.
How long? Do you age?
Do you?
Yeah?
Some people don't.
I haven't met anyone who doesn't, unless they are dead. Because therefore they are not growing. Except unless, maybe if internally, insofar as education. So I guess my next question would lead on to, are you taught education things? Are you growing inside, if not outside?
Oh yes, the master gave me a book.
A book?
Yes.
What was the book?
It just pulls out this little ratty notebook that has... when he opens it up, you can clearly see the title. It's like 101 Ways to Behave Like a Human.
That is a fantastic book. I have not had the pleasure of reading. I'm certain it would contain some fantastic assistance.
Oh, Master made it for me. I'm not surprised you haven't seen it.
Mm. Do you find it has helped, or because you haven't met many people outside of the Master, have you not used those muscles?
No, I refer to the book quite often. I do not know how to measure success, though. Are you succeeding?
Are you enjoying yourself?
This conversation has lasted at least 3 times longer than the last one, so... Progress?
Yes, very much so. And nothing is on fire or dead, so this is much better than some of the worst conversations I've ever had, so well done. It's lovely to meet you.
Is it difficult to talk to fire?
Yes.
I think I shall add that.
Was that just a direct look at Toronto? She's just like...
I feel like I'm being judged.
Fire is stubborn.
Yes, it burns relentlessly until it's run out of fuel and or oxygen.
Yes. Much like conversation.
And yet, this conversation has been full of many pauses. Do you have a tip?
Try discussing the weather. That is a tried and true tactic that humans use for prolonging conversation.
Of course. Do you have intimate details you could reveal about yourselves, such that this conversation could last longer?
Yes, Han, that's an excellent question. What intimate details would you like to share with us?
Well, we are here looking for someone who might know more about setting spirits to rest, maybe generally talking to spirits. We used to know someone who was able to see spirits.
Yes, we've covered most of this information already. I don't believe that this is intimate details about himself.
No,
Please
it's
be
not.
more specific.
It's called stalling, which is a tactic to wait until your master of the Onyx Path. Tell me,
The
did
Onyx
someone...
Master of the Ashen Path.
The Onyx Lord of the Ashen Path.
Yeah, someone wrote it down.
And asked me
I'm
to pin
hoping
it.
somebody pins it in the Discord.
Nice.
Can we pin? Is that in a private convo?
I'm writing it on my
It's in the
phone
private
notes.
combo, I believe you can. If not, I will add it to the other.
It's not important right now. Yeah. Stalling. Starts writing that down.
It's
That
when
was
you...
not in the Master's Handbook.
No, it's something when you don't particularly want to answer a direct question, and you make it so people need to slow down, or they go around to the side a few times.
So is revealing intimate details not an efficient way of extending a conversation, except is revealing intimate, or the asking of intimate details to get people to stall.
Well done! Gold star for Kyle. Very
In
well
which
done.
case, Miss Jade, please regale me with all of the intimate details about your life.
Oof. Oof. I don't really like going back into certain parts of my life because some of them were bad and really painful, and I don't like talking about them. So,
I
we'll
suggest
go with-
stalling.
Yeah. Yeah, so, well, I work for Hand as an acrobat and performer, and I also happen to be quite skilled with a blade, and apparently one of the other things I'm pretty decent at is matchmaking. Hey, Arthur Shasta, how's that going?
Complicated. I believe you've spoken to her. You can understand why. Conversation is both obtuse and very direct at the same time in a way that I find confusing.
You mean you don't find it refreshing?
Obtuse and direct. How does one achieve this effect?
She's a special lady.
Is it carried in the blood?
It may be. Her blood is an important part of her, who she is as a person.
Is it though?
Does blood impart characteristics? May I borrow some of yours?
No, I'm quite attached to it.
Ha! That was a
I know a
joke.
simple procedure to release it from your body.
Do you have blood, Kyle? That's called redirection.
I mimic many of the functions of the human body.
Oh wow. So in our discussion
There's a local
of
sports team.
in our discussion of conversational tactics, from what I have described, is what you are doing effectively stalling. Is the Onyx Master of the Ashen Path not actually here?
Oh no, they will be down. They become quite distracted with their study much of the time.
Would it be alright if we explore and go find them? Or should we remain here?
I have no specific direction to keep you in this room.
Alright, if you have no specific direction, then I am going to head this way.
Oh wait. Master asks me to use initiative. I will take you to him.
Oh, even better. Thank you, Kyle. You are doing wonderfully.
Thank you.
I was
Thank-
half expecting when you said initiative. I want you to join battle.
No, I don't believe people in this world speak by system terms.
When Hand asked if he had blood, I was half expecting to be like, yes, and I'd like to add more to my jar.
I keep it.
I'm picturing only decoy octopus from Last Days of Foxhound, just jars of different people's blood.
Quick question for you, Kel. How much longer have we got with you?
About an hour.
About
And some change.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we might do is actually jump into a second short break. This will be a short one. I just need to actually write some stuff down for a sec. So thank you very much to people who are watching. We're going on a very short break, hopefully no longer than 10 minutes. We'll see you very soon. Sagacious Hand, Cultureshog is Arthur Disaster, and Galdamer is Duralork!
Oh my gosh!
The group have just entered into Sajan, have been asking around about possible leads into a spiritualist who can help them with their problems in Kaldor, while also simultaneously Sagacious Hand asking on about information that's possibly pertaining to the presence or lack thereof of his mother. That's fine. Just got 1 second. That's too bright.
And you're dead.
That's better. So, after many long minutes of Kyle, the homunculus, really, trying to sort of, jotting down notes in his little handbook and trying to extend this conversation as long as he can while the master comes, eventually you're greeted by this this very sort of rickety cart that is just being sort of hashed together from old materials, probably very in need of a good oiling. So it's just that strange horror, creaky creak creak as it sort of sidles into the room, being pushed by this. So the creature that's pushing this cart is this most likely sort of reanimated body. That it's already been through several stages of decay, so its skin is shrunken. It doesn't have much in the way of lips that sort of pulled back to reveal their teeth, that sort of thing. The eyes sort of just sit in these hollowed out gouges in its face, essentially. It doesn't seem to talk, respond, or move much other than just sort of mindlessly doing whatever it is that it's been ordered to do. Sitting on top of the cart is this sort of arcane-looking canister with a brain probably about twice the size as you'd expect a brain to be, sort of just floating in the fluid of the jar. When it sort of squeaks into the room, Kyle sort of turns and nonchalantly goes, "Ah, Master."
Whoa!
Is something wrong?
I was expecting organs inside the body. Nothing is wrong, just unexpected.
Oh, the glorious Master has unlocked the secrets of eternal life. Or at least eternal-ish life.
Having spent that time getting that specialty, this seems fine. So Tarala gives a polite bow.
Sir, it is very lovely to meet you, and thank you for receiving us. Madam!
It's okay. I don't expect you to necessarily recognize the enlarged portion of his brain that somehow identifies it as female. In a scientific term.
It is simply a cultural misunderstanding in which I'm used to the further eastern reaches where everyone is addressed by a title. It was a...
Lord shall suffice.
Lord.
You're not quite sure how this thing is speaking, but it's audial, it's not sort of transmitted in your brain.
Thank you very much for seeing us today. From our short conversation with Kyle, it appears that you don't often take visitors, so we thank you very much for your hospitality.
I take visitors all the time, thank you. They not all have the manners to wait until I am ready to speak with them. I take them all the same. Now, you wanted to know things about a person. This name needs very little.
Very little, but not nothing.
Well, yes. I mean, there was this gaudy sort who came to the city some few years ago. fantastic parade of ridiculousness and march through the city. Set up shop outside. I understand that it's important in some way, shape, or form for the economics of the region, but I care little for those sorts of things, you see.
Right. And that's the only dealing with a hand that you know of?
Yes. Serene, though, that name means like, there's a lot of people from here named Serene, so that's a thing.
But not the two put together.
No.
Alright. You seem to be relatively skilled in... just kind of looking Kyle over. Stuff.
Thank you!
You're...
It's not very appreciated very often, especially in the city. I came here to get away from the people who judge based on, you know, standards.
I have this funny thing, like, you know, people who judge on, like, morals?
So,
not being an asshole,
you
not being
wanted to hire the spirituals. Well, I am happy to tell you that I could probably surface and do whatever it is that you want, even though I don't know what it is directly. I'm sure I could do it. Does it require me to leave?
We don't know, I say with such enthusiasm. I'm going to launch into an explanation of a bunch of Dragonblood, like tell the story of a bunch of Dragonblooded who have stayed behind, have been locked in an eternal battle with the forces of the realm versus the forces of the United Riverlands, and unfortunately the ghosts that were part of the Riverlands have found absolution and closure, and so they have moved on. However, the ghosts of the realm have not, and so their desire has been made manifest in wishing to wreak their wreaking upon the living. The matter has been, we've put a pin in it. It hasn't actually been resolved. We need a way in which to effectively have them not just go into the underworld, because that is simply moving transition of states from one to the other. We'd like to perhaps help them either cease being ghosts and make their way back into the cycle, or cease being homicidal. We're currently working on the latter part, with seeing if we can shift what is keeping them here from being a negative to a positive.
Right,
Here...
well, there are two possible solutions to your problem. One of them very easy, one of them needlessly convoluted. I hope you're talking about the lower section of the psyche of the soul. That would be the easiest one.
No, this is... We're pretty sure the higher section?
You're pretty sure.
You would have to speak to someone in matters much more learned than I. May I formally present to you Arthur Shasta, and I say his full name, you know, of esteemed value from the hierarchy of Yemen, with these list of qualifications as long as my arm.
The creature before it attacked us was willing to negotiate, enter in a deal that it would planned on breaking in full knowledge of that, and basically deceiving us. So it displayed a particular ability for higher level reasoning and communication that leads me to believe that it is greater than just the lower portion of the soul that is terrorizing that region.
And the level of power is that it is no more just a collection of single souls. They seem to have conglomerated.
Oh. Oh, yes. Yes, I know the phenomenon to which you are referring. Yes. Yes, I have never dealt with that before, but I've read lots of literature regarding it.
Ooh.
Also, it would not be outside of my considerable But I suppose the most important question of this entire interview is: does it require me leaving my abode?
I don't know if you are able to do such thing from a distance. If that is possible, then it would certainly fit within your schedule.
I'm capable of following a complicated set of instructions. Also, will in the essence of the universe and cosmos in one, in service of your will.
Yes, I love complicated lists of instructions.
Marvelous. I could probably
That's
just
what
jot
I'm-
it down for you.
That's what Unfalad said. Oh.
He reads that instead of conventional pornography.
Arthur Shasta, like, completely sincerely says, yes, I actually expect her to probably write a treatise about it sometime soon.
Wait, do you have command over Essence? I thought you were just studying that, not necessarily had it yourself.
Yes, from the time that DeNovo and Sarah and I returned from the underworld, I achieved enlightenment while I was there.
I'm really sorry for not making more of a big deal over that. Congratulations. I didn't know that was something that you were searching for, other than more knowledge, of course.
I don't... While some may go and find a tutor and study and train to become a sorcerer, there are some who, when confronted with the fundamental truth of reality, do not help but have their perceptions expanded. I like to think of myself as the latter.
Is that perhaps what happened to you? He sketches and addresses the head in the jar.
What?
How did you come to become a sorcerer yourself? Are you able to command the essence of the cosmos?
Yes.
Well, then a very belated congratulations if you have not been addressed in such a way. That is an amazing achievement, and I'm like just in the enthusiastic rising of the room, like, well done! Wow. Raised above men such as myself and others, to Jade Phoenix Soul. It's like, so with this in mind, of someone who may be able to follow your teachings, are you able to perhaps provide us with the literature? I'm assuming it took you many years to have mastered this. Is there something that we could do that my very learned friend can do?
I should certainly hope so. Well, this might require a combined effort between myself and my other half. So we will confer, and we will get back to you. Please bring a lot of silver.
I've run into this trouble before. Specifically silver, or a piece of paper that says this much silver?
We prefer silver.
Okay. Yeah, easy done.
Easy to work with.
Alright, look, it has been a pleasure meeting you. And especially Kyle, thank you very much for the outstanding conversation.
Great. Well, I wish I could say the same.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, you have the information you want. I promise to help you. Why are you still here?
Waiting for you to say good day, and then we shall leave.
Good day, and then we shall leave.
Yay! Alright, guys, we'll be back in a few hours. Catch you, Kyle!
Bye. Thank you for the notes.
Okay, I guess we, just leave and just be like, I guess we go to a bank.
Do you want to go to a bank?
I don't know, that was weird, right?
Was it?
Was it?
Are we
For
talking
Shasta?
about the contents of the conversation, or the jar from which it emanated?
the fact that it needs to be in 2 separate sections. I've never spoken to someone whose main abode was a jar.
Yes, but also until the other day, you've never smoked a ladle. The creation is full of new and wondrous experiences if you just give yourself the opportunity to explore them.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, until a few weeks ago, I didn't realize that, you know, I apparently, by tapping the ground, could cause a tree to sprout.
You can do
Yes.
that?
So, what are you going to do while you're waiting? Keeping in mind that the Honored Lord of the Ashen Path never gave you a time frame.
Let's go directly and get, like, I'll go to the bank, I'll say I'd like to withdraw this amount of money, please. I don't know how banking works. I get the money. I have resources.
One moment, sorry. Boys, please.
Yeah. Arthur Shasta looks at Hannah and says, your lines of credit will be honored here, correct?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't actually deal with the lines of credit myself.
That makes
that's
perfect sense.
usually, usually someone else deals with that. I'm sure it shouldn't be too hard, right?
Sorry, it sounds like there's an argument happening. Base is going to step out. Try and deal with that. In the meantime, Kel, does Tarala have any particular ideas, plans, or motivations for being in the city? Same question to you, Culture.
As far as being here, like, I'm actually gonna have, like, just after having had to deal with a ghost, like, this is gonna jumpstart me, like, actually spending XP on occult and things like that. I'm gonna actually have her kind of, you know, look around, see what you can do, like, anything that's, like, going on, like, anything, like, that's, like, if there's, like, displays of, like, oh, like, a funerary rite or things like that going on. She's kind of just gonna pay attention, just kind of, like, self-educate quietly while she's doing this, because again, now having had to deal with a big giant ghost, might want to put that into her wheelhouse as something to be able to do. That way she also doesn't feel like a dummy when talking to Arthur Shasta.
Do you want her to explore this type of thing while she's here, like undergoing a particular activity, or just sort of try and osmose the information while she happens to be
A little bit of osmosing, but like if like they're passing by and they see a funerary thing going on, and what she'll possibly do is like she'll watch, and like if she can, she might approach the person, like, just say, look, I'm new here, I'm trying to learn some things, I'm a little bit I'm fascinated by the, you know, that sort of thing, trying to mingle a little bit, making use of, you know, her ability to kind of blend into towns and stuff, but at the same time just trying to a little bit of observational, and then like if she can, she like stops, and she might stop somebody and say, oh, that procedure, what did you just do, like what was it that you were doing, if you don't mind me asking, that sort of thing.
Alright, cool. Can you give me a very quick charisma socialize?
Charisma socialize, okay, and the Sejan specialty, we're going to spend 4 motes, peripheral, it's muted automatically, but even it's 4 motes, so it doesn't matter. For 2 automatic successes on the socialize excellency, and that would give me 7 dice otherwise.
Bam. That's a total of, oh wow, 7 successes.
Nice!
Culture, sorry, same question to you.
What I'm gonna try and do and see if I can, like, I realize this is a great place to display Arthur Shasta's metaphysical knowledge, and I basically can, like a good manipulative cult leader, promise to expand people's horizons and show them things about the universe which they've never seen, and actually be telling the truth, I am going to enlist Taralla's help. She's a good barker and promoter. I am going to offer for a small amount of money in case Hand's bank loans don't go through, to allow anyone to come in, and I will open the perceptions and show them knowledge of creation from which they've never experienced.
Wow.
This is the charm that you have?
My spell, actually.
Oh, that's right, the Cohen, right.
Yep.
Is there anything particularly looking to achieve with this, or just to wow some people?
Wow some people. And Arthur Shots would probably pick up that Taralla's starting to get a little interested in the occult, so he would invite her to come and sort of blow open her perceptions.
And she would take on that because again, it's so useful. It's such a useful skill.
While Sagacious Hand is in the local branch of the Iron Repository, that's what we'll call it. You see, Sagacious Hand is fabulously wealthy, and other than just being controlled through the books of I've immediately forgotten her name. Ilva. There's a lot of finance tied up in the Ebulant Excelsior and spread through various different sort of depositing agencies, the Iron Repository being one of the most widespread and most available. It's not sort of controlled directly by the guild on the surface, although anyone with a keen knowledge of bureaucracy would probably be very easy to find out the connections, but none of you are, so you don't know. So while he's off in the branch trying to organise getting some actual physical silver to be able to pay the Onyx Lord, Tarala, you were able to befriend a young girl. I say young girl, but she's probably a year or two older than you, by the name of Sozi. S-O-Z-I. Oh wow, that was really bad. Sozi. They are basically a mortician in training, and they are. You sort of find them in this sort of small open court area where they. She says that she usually learns better amongst the sort of the bustle of other people. All the extraneous noise helps her concentrate more because it blocks out. Like her mind is too preoccupied. Like if it's quiet, she thinks too loud. But if there's other noise around, then her mind is like preoccupied with all of that. So she says that she learns better in the kerfuffle of a much larger open public space. And she's going through some what draws you to her in particular is that she's going through some practice rites and things, and sort of reading them aloud and doing that sort of thing. You can tell while this isn't necessarily normal for Sajan, it's normal for her. Sort of the people around sort of just go, oh, that's Sozi doing her thing. Let's just they give her a bit of a wide berth to allow her to, the room to do whatever it is. Because a few people have gotten a black eye from stepping too close, and she's absentmindedly whacked them during one of her rituals. So you're able to sort of befriend her. You're similar in age. She opens up to you quite quickly. She's very excited about what she's learning about, and she's mostly sort of just talking to you, not necessarily about the sort of the physicality of what it is that she's doing. She doesn't speak like Shasta, for example. She deals more in the sort of the metaphorical, metaphysical aspect of what it is that they're doing, why they're doing it, how it appeases spirits, all those sorts of things. Which gives you the opportunity just not only to sort of get to know somebody, but to be able to pick up on some knowledge, i.e. I wouldn't mind if you spent some experience on your occult if you wanted to, for some introductory points. Arthur Shasta, in the meantime, sort of in this same sort of public space, as Sozi starts sort of opening up and sort of talking about her lessons, this whispered rumor starts to sort of spread about the city, and some of the sort of the older mortician gentlemen and women start to sort of congregate a little bit as the rumor of this, strange visitor to the city sort of opening up people's, ideas, perspectives as to the mysteries of the universe, and so they're sort of like, stop by just to see what's going on. And while they're probably not in the highest echelons of the order of the mortician. What was it called again?
The Mortician's Order.
Yeah. Well, they're probably not in the highest echelons of the Mortician's Order. They are nonetheless experienced, and you're able to get a few of them interested in what it is that you're doing. It's not that they haven't seen sorcery before, but this particular type of sorcery is definitely new, and it's people are able to sort of take meaning and garner idea from your koans more than you necessarily know yourself. It's not you imparting knowledge to them necessarily. It's your sort of giving them a gateway into the larger spectrum of everything around them, and so you become a useful tool for them to use to have this experience, almost like a drug dealer.
So, Arthur Strauss would probably spend about trying to read the crowds 30 to 60 minutes, sort of explaining how the circumstances came about that he learned sorcery, because he feels it'll be actually kind of useful and applicable to the people of Sajan, because what he did was repairing essence lines between both the physical and underworld while trying to abort a shadowland, while combining both the essence from a manse through a physical medium and a body to help generate a hearthstone. So he'd sort of explain, how his theory about how it happened, and his rough sort of unified theory of essence about, how creation is a living organism that all of us are constituent parts of, and while individual holistic beings, we're still bound to the greater network of reality. And he's going to sort of, before he casts a spell, he's like, and when I came out of the situation, I was left pondering a question. It's like, how does the Enlightened One return to the ordinary world? The supplicant asked the monk. And they replied, a broken mirror never reflects again. Fallen flowers never turn back to the old branches. And that's activate his spell and stupefy everyone. And I'm going to enhance it with the specialty of metaphysics. So anyone who's able to succeed at getting through the cone and finding the deeper meaning, they have experience, they can get a free lore, get a lore specialty in metaphysics, or just add it to their lore topics.
Awesome. Do you need to make a roll for that? Because I'm giving you 2 points now.
I just have to eventually get enough successes to generate the motes for it, so everyone can stand there with bated breath while I pause and ask my deep question that I was left pondering. So it's the dramatic pause is however long it takes me to get up to 15 sorcerer's motes.
Okay, well, you regain the willpower at least if you haven't already done so. I mean, given that there's been such a long journey, you're probably full anyway. Meanwhile, in the bank, Sagacious Hand, you're able to chat up the receptionist fairly well. It's a younger gentleman. He's very quickly taken by your charm. But when it comes time to actually sort of complete the transaction, you are asked to sign out a release for your funds, and when you do so, they run it through this. They give it to this a large creature that has these enormously long fingers that just sort of just gently plucking at the air, and they sort of just run it by it, and it shakes its head no. They tried a few times because they're amazed at this, but they say, "Look, I'm terribly sorry. There must be some mistake. Your signature is not being not being accepted.
I see. Okay, hang on. I had a hand injury a while ago. My shoulder's been a bit off. I'll switch hands. Let's try again. So I'm going to forge my own signature and see if it goes through.
Do you have a charm that helps you with this?
No.
No? You're just going to
I'm going...
make a roll.
I'm going to make a roll. Larceny 5, manipulation 5, 10 dice. Let's go.
10 dice. Any other enhancements?
I'll spend a willpower for 1 success.
So 3 successes.
Hey!
Okay, you actually managed to fool it.
I managed to forge my own signature.
What's going on there, I wonder? After your second try, you can tell
On the shoulder.
the creature sort of stares at it a little bit longer, and then eventually nods its head yes. Terribly sorry. Yeah,
Oh, I had
it must be defective. We'll need to replace it.
No, I had a shoulder injury. It's completely understandable. It might have changed since then.
So you're handed a satchel of silver.
Shoink! with a pound sign.
Yes, with a pound sign.
Oh.
By the time your process is done and you walk outside, you notice that sort of Athashastra and Trala have managed to get this crowd of old people in robes surrounding them, sort of just staring at this sort of weird symbol on top of Athashastra's head.
Whoa.
What's the role, Athashastra?
Yeah, I wanted to know that myself.
What do you mean?
For the... Go.
To solve.
Oh, sorry.
Because you benefit, and that's a specialty. I'm going to try and do this.
It's an extended roll of intelligence plus lore. The base difficulty is my essence, so 1, and you need to accumulate... because I'm enhancing it with a specialty, the difficulty will be 2, and you need to get a total of 4 successes. It's actually pretty achievable.
Yeah, given the fact that right now I've already got 2 with the lore excellency that I have.
Yeah.
So, with that would leave... Hold on, I think this might also include the fact that if I buy 2 successes, I get double 9s on the roll. Let me double check if that follows the stipulation.
By the way, anyone who's watching, the Onyx roller is nice. It's specifically made for the various Onyx Path systems, so as you can see I can click a rule set, changes over with, like Exalted, so I'll do that one. But it helps me easily to say double 9s as well.
Well, it doesn't double 9s for this. It's
okay,
because it's only to introduce or challenge a fact.
Okay, and your dice pool?
My dice pool is 5 plus 2 successes.
That's a total of 5 successes for the first roll. And if the difficulty is 2, that means the first 2 successes don't count. Or sorry, the first 1 success doesn't count, so that's 4 successes towards the goal. And which is 4?
Yep.
So you get it in 1.
Nice. Try smart.
In plus law.
So, if you have experience,
7?
you can get an actual specialty. Otherwise, it's just listed as a topic you have in lore for doing lore stuff, like introducing facts.
I mean, I'm fine with a topic. Gonna save me the XP for what you call it? The
Bolton.
yeah.
I have harmonious presence harmonious academic methodology, which gives me automatic essence successes. So 1 automatic success and 7 dice.
Three, so that's 2 for the first roll. And you get it on the second roll. Cool.
1 essence.
Yeah, cool. So you get it into. What's the interval on that one?
It's around.
Around. Oh yeah. So you sort of walk out. You see this sort of shining symbol over Arthur's head. You're like, what the hell is that? Oh, yeah.
So do I gain a specialty from that?
You gain a topic.
Oh, nice.
Which we'll deal with more later.
Yeah. Woo!
Regarding
Awesome.
regarding underworld stuff, because that's what you were doing.
No, I chose metaphysics.
Sorry.
Metaphysics.
Metaphysics. Okay. After everyone is sufficiently wowed, and there's a few people who sort of start engaging Arthashastra in conversation, none of them are particular. Like, it's high level conversation for you, but they don't necessarily speak in the over exaggerated terms and conditions as Arthashastra himself does. Although he is able to follow to sort of hold them in this sort of educational rapture for a few minutes after Sagacious Hand is able to come out, carrying a large satchel of silver.
Hey! Look at you! Grabbing a crowd. Heyo!
Yes, you're not the only one who can draw an audience. You just have the ability to do so much better than me.
I liked your speech. Or dissertation as it may be. That was interesting.
Yes, like I said, with essence and true knowledge, all things are possible. I believe I got you to fundamentally understand the lesson I was trying to teach.
I feel like it, yeah. I listen.
The way you said that, I'm just picturing the movie Independence Day. I'm pilot. I fly.
Is there anything more you wanted to do with this crowd that you've managed to gather?
Not really. I'm sure from here my reputation will spread, which is more than enough for me.
Okay, cool. Great. Take 1 influence to jump.
Ooh,
Ooh.
nice.
When you head back to the Onyx Lord's mansion, you have a similar 10 to 15 minute wait at the door while the gargoyle, relays your admission. You have another 30-minute conversation with Kyle.
Before heading back, I'm going to have bought Kyle a second book. So he's got another book other than one that's been given regarding conversation. I'm going to have bought him a second book on, on the art of conversation, but written by a different author. So just give him something else to read.
How to make friends and unnaturally mentally influence people?
Mm-hmm. There's a
Such an ugly laugh.
if you turn it upside down and read it backwards, it's how to lose friends and infuriate people.
Also summon demons.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, so as I mentioned, another 30-odd minute conversation with Kyle while you're waiting for the Lord to return. They do return, but beside them is when they return, so you have their zombified creature pushing the brain in the jar, and beside them is the best way to describe it is like this pitch black spider. If it was to stand in shadow, you're sure that it would just disappear. Sorry, one moment. Yeah. What's going on?
No, they're not ready yet, darling.
They're not ready. No, they're not ready.
No, it needs a couple more hours before they're ready, darling.
You'll need to wait longer, okay? Buddy, there's nothing I
Yeah,
can do about it.
they
They're in the
need to
freezer.
freeze.
They're in the freezer. That's all I can do.
No.
You shouldn't be feeling it. You need to leave them alone until they're ready.
Every time you open the freezer, it means
takes
that-
longer.
Yeah. So we'll just wait, okay? Thank you. Sorry, we have icy poles in the freezer, and it's a burning coal for a 4-year-old.
Like money in the pocket of a 4-year-old. Oh, he's really upset. He,
It's an icy pole, man.
So a pitch black spider, probably as large as a full-grown adult, and sort of on its back is straddled another one of these sort of arcane jars with sort of liquid and bubbles in it. But inside that one, instead of being a brain, is this sort of large, like shriveled head. You know the shrunken heads from the stereotypical shrunken head.
Yeah.
People who shrink heads. It sort of looks that sort of desiccated, but not small. It's actually quite like regular sized, except the body that is attached to it has shriveled. It's sort of just this little body hanging off this big head.
Oh gosh. Guile. Hi!
Yes, we talked it over. Yes, we did. We did talk it over. We discussed it at length, at much length, and we decided that it was probably possible that it would be better if we went with you. Yes, yes. This requires field assessment to provide proper support.
Alright. That would be a 3-week journey. I am happy to fund whatever is necessary for that journey. Are you sure that you are able to make such a journey? It is bumpy.
Absolutely.
Sagation just kind of turns to the others like, is there any transportation questions we should ask or plan for? Do we need to throw a sheet over anyone? No?
I mean,
Excellent! Thank you so much for your assistance! That is very kind of you to accept our offer. Thank you very much. Is there anything we can offer in the way of helping facilitate this transportation? Otherwise, we will be going as soon as possible.
No. No, we're ready to go now.
Okay, Kyle, would you be able to
Yes.
help facilitate your master's any transportation needs? Any?
We are quite ambulatory without the homunculus' help. Thank you very much. Oh, to think we need that little boy's help.
Well, Kyle is.
The masters will be fine without me.
But you offer such thrilling conversation.
Really?
Yes. You should come.
Really?
Really. You do.
Rolls dice.
Really, as the ambassador of your masters, you make a wonderful first impression. I really do think that being alone here would not benefit you. You should come.
It's great that you feel that way. I was already planning on coming.
Excellent. It seemed that they don't feel the same way, so I was.
Well, they don't need me, but I'm going to go.
Oh, excellent. Cool. I admire your Moxie kid. Let's. In that case,
Moxie.
yes. Make this action. Moxie. Moxie. Alright. I put some dice in his hand, like, da-da!
Is the dice necessary?
It helps. Alright.
If you say so.
We have an idea of a semi-professional. That is enough for me! Let's go! We have 2 people! That's twice as much as we had before!
Before we do move on, Culture Shock and Kel, is there anything additional you want to do before we do move on?
actually having kind of befriended it, Tarala's going to try to see if there's a way she could stay in communication with Sozi via letters and things like that, because presumably she can get mail, like messages sent to Root, and the messages will reach her some way, whether through one of his sorcerers or something.
Cool.
And that way she can write back and everything.
Yeah, it's not difficult to set up a community. I mean, like, it'll take, like, weeks for messages to arrive, but yes.
Yeah, but it's just something, you know, just a nice, like, you know, try to keep in touch, because, you know...
Great. Kate,
made a friend her own age.
Sir John.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, what was that?
Take contacts 1, Sir John.
Sweet.
So, just to finish wrapping up the session, it's been a bit disjointed. I'm a little tipsy. A little. Who am I kidding? Me. That's who I'm kidding. There's this moment on the ship when the Sagacious Hand is still sort of, just as this trip is about to begin again. You know, Sagacious Hand is leaning over the side of the ship, sort of preparing himself for the sudden lurching, staring down into sort of the abyssal water around him. Anyone who knows Sagacious Hand knows that he's quite vivacious pretty much all the time. Tarala has seen him in some weaker moments, but even in those moments, he's been alive. But right now when he stares down at the water, there's this stillness about him, a quiet that almost radiates from him. And from a distance, where you are on the boat, dealing with the captain, sort of organising food, you can see that Kyle approaches Sagacious Hand with a sort of parchment of paper in his hand. He has a short conversation with Hand before handing it over and then leaving. What he says to you, Hand, is that he went through the records of his masters. He's showing initiative, like his masters wanted, or like his master wanted. He refers to the pair of them as a singular. He couldn't find any reference to a serene hand anywhere in any of the sort of documents he was able to peruse in the time he had allotted to him. But the name Serene does show up a few times in what records he did have access to. It's a relatively common name amongst the nobility in Sijan, but what brought him this passage specifically into his hand, thus wanting to hand it over, is that there's only one Serene that he knows of, or that he was able to find information on, that married outside of the nobility to a lesser man.
Arundel.
An Arundel hand. And it's there where the records stop.
Sagacious will ask more information about Serene, like who, if she was a noble, where from?
Kyle doesn't know, but it's in the document that he hands you.
Okay.
It has a lot of information about her family, about her family name. But the one thing you are certain of from this document is that she is definitely not buried in the family crypt.
Wow.
Once she married Aaron, ties with her family were immediately cut. And that's where we end today's session. Thank you very much everyone for watching. Thanks for joining us. We'll have this up on YouTube. I finally worked out all of the issues I've had with uploading and the music and everything. So watch out for a massive dump of extra episodes to come up. For those of you who do want to catch up, they will obviously be available. Thank you everyone who has followed us live. Thank you very much, The Onyx Path, for joining us today. Thanks everyone who's been watching us on YouTube. You don't have to like and subscribe. You probably don't. Actually don't. Because that would probably make my life easier. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.